Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar Aftershow. I'm your host, George, and joining me for the Aftershow is the Director of the Academy of Insurance, Mr. Patrick Raitt, and today's instructor. Today's class was A Two-Edged Sword, How Agencies Must Navigate AI and Cybercrime in 2025. And our guest is Mr. Tom Wetzel, who is also the instructor for today's class. Tom, welcome to the Aftershow. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Patrick and George. Always a great opportunity to see you guys.
Likewise, we're sure. And we hear the weather is nice in Chicago, so hopefully that's
the sun is shining and it's 70 degrees, so no complaints.
Fantastic. So how agencies must navigate AI and cybercrime in 2025? I'm guessing that no matter what the year is, we need to exercise the same level of extreme caution and things like that. But what about cybercrime in 2025 makes it, how makes this class, relative to how we need to navigate AI in 2025? What new things are happening that we need to be wary of? In a nutshell.
Basically, AI has accelerated the process of cyber attacks across the board to agencies large and small, policyholders large and small. It's only accelerating with a multiplier effect, and AI is the driver of all of that. And that means that it's not just phishing or malware anymore. It's all kinds of different strategies that are being developed literally every single day about how can a criminal extract data from you or trick you to click on something or send money to somebody that doesn't deserve it. And that means you have to be on guard. And agencies cannot be satisfied with just, the latest firewall, or even there are some AI-powered cybersecurity tools which are good, but they're not great. They're very limited, and anything that is static, you put something in place and you can leave it and forget about it. That world is gone. You have to be proactive in all of this, and that it's incumbent on the agencies to be proactive, not just with their own defenses, but also with the defenses of their policyholders. They have to bring it up and saying, insurance isn't enough. I can't get you a good policy unless you take some solid cyber defense steps yourself. And I'm in a position to tell you, I'm not a defense expert, but I know what works, and I know what the insurance companies are demanding that you take, what steps you take, and I can lay them out for you.
Sure. Thanks, Tom. So I had a question, because you had mentioned that one of the challenges of using AI, you mentioned 4 of them, one of which was productivity. And my understanding is that AI, ChatGPT, things like that, help with productivity or help reduce the amount of time one might take performing a task. If AI helps to the degree that it does, can you elaborate on why productivity is a challenge in terms of AI?
Well, it's a challenge. Number one, you have to get the biggest bang for your buck. And I liken ChatGPT to the invention of the wheel. Now you have a wheel, but what do you do with that wheel? How do you maximize its use and use it effectively? And that's where we are. And agents are being bombarded with all kinds of pitches. Use our tool to do this or that or the other. And the agent has to step back. They could be easily overwhelmed with all this. So they need to step back and say, number one, what tasks do I want to address in my agency that are really causing me headaches? Like, email organization. And there are tools that can do that, make it easier. Instead of having to go through 200 emails or deleting 100 of them because I can't even take the time to read them, it can look through them and flag the ones that appear to be the most urgent, or direct them to the right people within the agency. It doesn't have to be the agency principal, it could be somebody else. And because every agency producer who takes a call and it's not productive, that's a minute wasted or 5 minutes wasted or whatever. If you can eliminate those to some extent, all of a sudden they've got a lot more time to spend time on things that are more productive. At the same time, summarizing meetings, text summarization, or a chat bot. So they have to make some decisions of what they can't solve everything all at once. So they have to prioritize. And then once they've done that, then they can start saying, is this the best tool? What is the best tool to accomplish whatever it is I'm trying to solve? It's configured properly. Its security protocols are adequate or above standard. And then say, all right, that's the direction I'm going to go. And that takes a little research, but it's research, it saves times and money. It's well spent research.
I'll say a hear on that. Patrick, what do you think of the topic in general, and what did you think of today's class in particular?
Yeah, George, I thought that the class today was very insightful, simply because you have to get people to pay attention to these topics. This idea that, well, I've got an IT person, so that means I've got a cybersecurity person. The two are not the same thing. We have on our team, we've got web developers. They are not necessarily cybersecurity people. They're web developers, and in their work, they work to make secure websites if they can and things like that. But they are not experts in security. Additionally, from what I'm seeing as just a person involved in life, right, with connected email and text messaging and all that, the volume of apparently AI generated outreach to get somebody's attention long enough to try and steal from them or hack into their systems is increasing. It feels exponentially. This week I've received text messages saying that I needed to pay tolls. But I know I've got a toll account and it's being used. It's fine, But when you get the text message, especially out of nowhere, wait a minute, did I go on a toll road? And eventually, with the volume of attacks that we're receiving, it's just a matter of time and numbers where anybody paying attention even could still fall victim. I mean, we've to attacks, and using AI, these criminals can figure out the best way to word the emails or we're not far off, Tom, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think we're far off from AI generated voices that are close enough to somebody we know to where that could trigger a response.
We're already there. It's only getting better, but it's becoming increasingly harder to spot the real ones from the imposters. And that just takes a level of concentration that all of us are going to have to get used to. And
most of us don't have.
No, we don't. That's another reason why it's absolutely mandatory that an agency has a cybersecurity team working on their behalf. It can't be somebody internal. And even if a larger agency that may have an IT person, and that person may be very, very good, because we've had actual situations with this. But the guy says, look, I'm spending all of my time putting out fires. The latest computer goes down, and I want to have a cybersecurity team behind me looking over my shoulder. Hey, have you covered this? Because I'm going to miss something. I'm human. I'm doing the best I can. But it takes a special person to say, wait, I'm not the answer. And some IT people are afraid to say to an agency principal, I need some help, because they want to be in a position saying, I've got this covered, when in fact they may know they don't have it covered, or they're just hiding the fact and they're not comfortable enough. And the agency principal has to say, look, I understand this threat, this cybercrime threat is so existential. I think we're going to have to look outside. That doesn't mean I'm going to replace you. I'm not going to kick you out. You're not doing a bad job, but we need some help. We need reinforcements. This battle is too big.
Yeah. And it doesn't it require some constant reminding and continually keeping it in front of people that, hey, there are people out there trying to hack into systems. Our system is not too small. We need to be completely diligent about the things that we're doing. If it was ever a good idea to have a piece of paper with all of your passwords, or to have a common password among several logins, if that was ever a good idea, it is the worst idea today.
Exactly. And if you're standing still, you're falling behind. And that's if people can take away that thing, what worked 2 years ago doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I had one more question for you, Tom. I'm really interested in language. We have courses at the Academy about essential insurance terms and concepts. I'm interested in how language changes organically in the neighborhood. And one thing I noticed about your performance, your presentation, was new words for things like SMS phishing was smishing, or voicemail was vishing, or quishing was for
QR codes.
QR codes. So who comes up with those words? Like, did you make them up for this presentation, or are they now new?
No. These are commonly accepted terms by cybersecurity professionals. They discover something is happening. QR codes are being impacted. Okay, we need to come up with a term to describe that. And
got it.
It's smishing or phishing or. And you can get lost in that. But if you just take away, quishing didn't exist a couple of years ago. Well, now it does. It's another thing that you have to worry about.
Got it. Well, I didn't know if you knew who came up with those words. Like, it was somehow a chat GBT linguist appeared with, these are the new words for these. We don't know what happened. They just sort of appeared.
No, they sort of bubble up because in the insurance business is a universe unto itself, but cybersecurity is a different universe. But they talk to each other all the time, and they'll come up with, here's something that's new that we need to put a name to, so that we can talk to people saying this is another threat that you are now facing.
Got it.
You might even call it a multiverse of madness.
I like that. Exactly. Because that's what it is. And because you think about, I made the point that cybercrime is $1 trillion industry, and it is an industry. And if you're sitting in Russia, for example, and you're looking for a job, and the average salary is, $7,000 or $10,000 a year, hey, but you can go down the street and work for this big firm that they do cyber attacks, but they'll pay you $50,000. Okay, I'll sign up. It's a job to so many of them. And this is an industry that generates revenue within Russia or in North Korea. That's real easy. There's a big payoff. And as agencies, they need to understand this is the environment in which you are operating, and you're being attacked every single day. It's not an if or it's, and you have to be prepared for it.
Understood. Tom, your line about if you're standing still, you're falling behind, that encapsulates this course ideally. I want to thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it just occurred to me. I hadn't coined that, but it makes perfect sense.
It's now been coined. It's the
Yep.
coin of the AI realm. It's the coin. It's Wetzel bucks. It's the new thing.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, Tom. Thank you so much for your knowledge, your wealth of knowledge, your more like your perspective, because what may be knowledge this week may change next week. So we want to keep vigilant, and we appreciate you coming on and spreading the word. So thank you so much. And Patrick, thank you for your multiverse of knowledge and everything. Really appreciate it.
It's not madness. It's sanity. And
Multiverse
confidence.
of sanity. That's right. Well, on behalf of our director, Patrick Raitt, and our instructor for today, Tom Wetzel, this is your host, George, saying thanks, everybody, for coming to the class today and the after show, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Take good care.